When it's come to letting people go, it hasn't always been the easiest for me. I had someone I met, and I could tell she kind of assumed, like, letting people go is easy, and, I'm just able to date people and set that boundary. Like, if I don't see myself having commitment with you, I'm not going to force it. You know what I mean? I don't force people to stay in my life. I don't attach myself to people. I do approach relationships not only dating but platonically from a detached way, and that's just due to my own trauma. And she was able to kind of see through me in that moment, because I think I give off like the mask or the persona that I'm just this very empowered individual where it's easy for me to let go of people when I struggle with people pleasing. I struggle with keeping people around me for way too long, even after they may have hurt me or they're mistreating me, or, I know they're taking me for granted. But due to certain experiences, I was kind of forced in a way to let go of people, to depend on myself, to be self-reliant. But yeah, when it comes to letting go of people, I just have so many questions all the time. Like, which connections do I let go of? Should I let go of those deeply emotional or spiritual connections with people? Or should I even let go of those types of bonds? Or are they teaching me something and healing something within me? Because there's only certain things that relationships heal. You can do so much healing on your own, but there's only things that a healthy friendship, a healthy relationship can heal. You get what I mean? There's only certain things that healthy social interaction can heal within you that you can't really touch trying to be alone all the time and do the healing by yourself. And I had to kind of learn that as well. That, I was pushing people away and letting them go who actually could have been beneficial for the growth and healing I was trying to do on my own. Which brings me to my main question. How do you discern those connections that should stay, that are actually beneficial and aid in your growth, with the ones that are blocking you and stagnating your growth that you really should just let dissolve naturally? Because people who aren't meant for you, they're gonna fall out of your life naturally. They're going to leave naturally. And that's what I mean. Like, that's what I mean when there were certain experiences that had to teach me that. I had to get accustomed to just people leaving my life naturally because, I attract all types of people. 144, come on. Healers, come on. Like, we attract people who need healing, but they're also reflecting a version back to us that we may need to heal within ourselves as well. And I think healers all the time, it's always this deflection. But, why are you continuously attracting the same people? Why are you continuously entertaining the same people? Like, we have to look back at ourselves and question ourselves first. We won't evolve in the way that we should on a collective scale if we can't face our own darkness. If we can't own and accept our own bad, negative, or shadow traits. If we can't look at that version of ourselves, if we can't face our own shadows and allow certain people to illuminate our shadow, we won't we won't grow in the way that we should. We won't harness our full potential. That was a bit of a tangent, but especially if you know you attract a lot of people that need healing and they kind of sense your light, they sense your energy, they can sense you're loving, you're compassionate, that you would hold space for them and their feelings. You do have to get accustomed to people leaving, because sometimes people just come for what they can gain from you than for the actual experience of knowing you and just being in your presence, having the honor of receiving your care. Going back to how to discern those connections that need to stay, that facilitate growth and healing, rather than stagnating it. Like, I had one connection in my life in particular. And months ago, this person would trigger me a lot. And a lot of it was due to my BPD. He would just flare it up. He would bring out this side of me, like I said, a very wounded, traumatized version of me that is uncomfortable to sit in. And at the time for me, it was very uncomfortable to face my own shadow, to face myself, to face that version of myself. And so I think over time, on some level, I resented him for illuminating those parts of me. And I would project onto him from time to time. Just my own past traumatic experiences. And when I cut him off, I think that separation was definitely needed, because I think we needed to do some individual healing apart from each other. And really evaluate what we both wanted. At least I needed to evaluate what I really wanted. You know, am I just doing the thing that you want because I want you in my life? Or, which I was. You know, I was being his peace and I was being his happiness at the expense of my own. And that was the issue. There was imbalanced dynamics between us, power dynamics between us. And there was too much self-sacrificing behavior. There was too much lack of boundaries. And like I said, all of that, he illuminated that I needed to work on that. I needed to work on better open communication. I needed to work on boundary setting. I needed to work on empowering myself and being able to stabilize myself, because I would depend on him a lot, because I didn't know how to depend on myself, love myself, feel content and alone being by myself at that time. So I felt like I needed someone, not knowing that, you know, that in itself was a fallacy. We don't need anyone. It feels nice to have people you can depend on and who you know support you, but you don't need a single fucking person but yourself. Now, whether my self-reliance is a healthy dose or bordering on hyper-individualism, or independence as well, I mean... But I at least want to take or have a balanced stance on that, so that I'm not, and I'm learning to allow other people to help me. I'm working on being a better team player and not just doing everything alone and feeling like I have to be alone all the time. But back to the connection. You know, he just mirrored a version of me back to myself, or he really illuminated or revealed a version of me that I didn't like. You know, he just illuminated aspects of myself that I should acknowledge and allow to grow and evolve. And I don't even want to say heal, because I don't even think that's the point of shadow work, is healing those repressed traits or those more negative traits that you may be ashamed of having. Those character flaws. I think it's about allowing those character flaws to expand. Certain connections, I wouldn't be able to identify that if it wasn't for certain connections in my life. You know, only certain people were able to illuminate that and bring that out of me. When it comes to the mirrors in my life, the people that trigger me, I at least now want to look at them for what they are, mirrors. You know, they can either facilitate my growth and healing or stagnate it. And seeing it from that perspective, but also trying to see reality for what it is and stay grounded in reality, is the best thing that I know I can do. So I at least want to try to make things work and see the connection as a mirror. What can I work on? But even if I'm working on myself and I'm doing the healing and the growth that I need to on myself, but I still feel some type of way, or I still feel unfulfilled in this, or, you know, whatever the reasoning may be, things just aren't working, then I think it's time to let go. And I want to make that decision from a grounded and centered place instead of out of fear.